Hey everyone, just want to mention two quick things, and then we'll get into the video. Number one, these stories come from r/Mr.Ripper, so go over to that subreddit right here, right now, and submit your stories either in a pre-existing thread or one that you make yourself. And number two, the big one, today is the channel's birthday. Not mine, not Mr. Ripper's, not Dave's, the channel itself. It's the channel's birthday. Everyone in the comments, you're welcome to sing happy birthday, but according to the script, I shouldn't because we don't want to break anybody's glass in the house. Anyway, that said, players of Mr. Ripper, what is the worst crime you have done on accident? Part 1. I'm excited for this. I accidentally burned down a prison. I was still new to D&D at an adventure league, and we had captured a bandit leader who had taken over said prison. After we captured him alive, we found out he had his group set the town ablaze to get him out, using the fire as a distraction. We put him in a cell as we knew more of his group were coming to get him out. The rest of the group went to prepare for combat. I stayed to watch him. It sounded as though we were losing the fight outside, so I doused the leader in oil and set him on fire. And then I joined my companions, hoping that even if we lost, the group would still be down their leader. As it turns out, while the bars of the cell were metal and the walls were stone, the rest was very flammable. Oops. Well, I was in a pirate campaign, matey, and I was a bard. Now, before you have an aneurysm thinking he did something that a bard would do, I should tell you now, this guy was for the sole purpose of cooking. Oh, I love him already. The DM had it where you'd roll performance to cook, along with proficiency with cook's tools. So this guy named Eugene has plus 14 to all cooking-related rolls. So we washed ashore to some unknown island, and we started looking around. Well, we get the feeling we're being watched, and turn around to find 3 Amazonian women who were following us. Basically, they treated men as a lower form of living, so they didn't care for 2 of the 3 members, me included. Basically, the one female party member talked with them, and they decided to let us stay the night to get the lay of the land. Well, Eugene, being the good guy he is, decides to cook for the whole tribe, all 562 of them. The DM asked me what I'm cooking, and then tells me to roll to cook. I can't think of anything and just blurt out tuna. I also got an almost perfect roll, which equaled 34. Well, surprise, surprise, they're all allergic to tuna. Oh no, every single one of them. They all died, and on that day, Eugene accidentally committed mass genocide on a tribe of Amazonian women with some tuna. He got like 10,770 XP for it, and everyone leveled up. That campaign didn't last much longer after that. Well, you know what they say, you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish? Fish puns. So this was not me, but one of my players. It's not mass genocide or anything too big, but it was so memorable it kept getting brought up in our campaign. A new player decided he wanted to play a chaotic, evil character, a Minotaur barbarian named Doe. I described the first scene and immediately he started trying to follow a random NPC. Not sure why. He rolled a 2 for perception, so I mentioned how he decides to follow a small minnow in the puddles on the ground. He attempts to find someone else, but still rolls low. Eventually, after following the minnow for a bit, he decided to try and attack it for fun. He rolled a nat 1 and managed to blind himself instead by splashing mud into his eyes. The character started to go into a panic/fury and soon began patting the walls of nearby builds to find his way around and something to take his anger out on instead of cleaning his eyes. He finds a door and his first instinct is to run back, rage, and ram it with his horns. He managed to roll well enough despite being blinded, and it gored right through what turned out to be an outhouse with a woman inside, impaling her on his horns. Still alive, I might add, and scaring quite a few people before she bled to death on him, among other things, I'm sure. The city guard soon came to investigate and saw a raging minotaur slinging a dead woman's body around by its horns, covered in mud and blood. Needless to say, they killed him. Soon after, a chaotic good half-orc barbarian named Mo joined the party. My goblin barbarian, Anguish, killed an elven princess who snuck out of her family home to enjoy nature by herself. He was high on our alchemist's inhalants and saw her as a wild boar. The DM didn't tell me the truth until I had dragged her body back to camp, and the party freaked out. I stuffed her body into my bag of holding to try to think of a plan, and when elven soldiers came to the village looking for her, I planted her body in the innkeeper's cellar. He was arrested and executed. Our party inherited the inn, and Anguish smelted the princess's golden rings into 2 gold teeth, which he had implanted, which became one of his calling cards. You might not intend to do evil, but sometimes you just have to lean into the tragedy. Spoilers for Lost Mines of Phandelver. We get a lot of those in this, and I love that. I don't really remember the details that well, to be honest, as this was my very first long-term campaign and details tend to be fuzzy. But I remember being hired by a dwarf to explore the mines and getting lit of everything wanted in there, and if it's possible, to save the dwarf's brother, which got missing some time ago. Skip a few sessions later, and we finally find the brother of the dwarf alongside with a copy of himself. They both attack us, so we decide to take them both down, but after killing one of them, the other seems to get out of a trance and explains how he was mind controlled, but things don't really add up. So we decide to look at the 2 dwarfs with a torch, as we until now only used our dark vision, and everything was a kind of gray, and realized the alive dwarf has blue blood while the dead one has red blood. And it finally came to us. We killed the real one and let the doppelganger live. After everything is finished, we meet with the dwarf which hired us and lie to him that we found his dead brother's corpse. He believed us, but the DM no longer believed our good alignments. It wasn't me, but someone I was DMing for. He was a dumb, strong guy with like 30 strength. I let him have the absurd strength and sometimes more than he actually had because I messed with him a whole bunch. He even did enough damage in one hit to himself to kill himself by not wanting to punch a tree. He had like 10 HP and he did like 14 damage or so. I gave him some help to come back to life. It was like a 2-off anyway. Okay. But the story is involving him. His character was very angry and very dumb, and he came across a house, a small house, and no one really examined it all too well. We had somewhere to be. It was pretty quiet. The player, let's call him Headache I enjoy playing with and DMing for, went, "I want to yeet the house." Okay, roll for it. He rolled pretty high. I take a second to process exactly how to get it across, but I'm like,
So, you yeet the house for miles, and as it flies, you hear the screams of several children that sound around 4 or 5. You watch it crash way off in the distance as you hear screams of pain fade.
I literally took homebrew lawyer monsters from D&D Beyond to take him to court over it. Essentially, he wanted to take out frustration on a presumably empty house and killed a few young children. Yeah. Destroyed an entire township with a fart. In D&D 3.5, I was playing a barbarian, and one of my friends was playing a beguiler. Someone managed to break into our inn and steal a good amount of our money with almost no trace. We suspected magic was afoot, so we asked around town and found ourselves a severely crippled young man who was the only wizard for miles to come and help us. I had to carry this guy on my back all the way back to the inn. After he detects magic and picks up a sort of a trail for whoever stole our money, I go to pick him back up again while he's holding his concentration for the spell. Now, he was expecting me to pick him up, so that wasn't what broke his concentration. While I bent over to pick him up, the beguiler thought it would be funny to use an illusory sound to make it look like I farted quite loudly. This broke the wizard's concentration because he was so crippled and scrawny that his constitution was awful, and the DM rolled a 2. He rolls some random numbers on his dice and checks his 1 out of 100 chart for wild magic effects. The DM describes, "A portal opens up as you see a fat, gargantuan leg start poking through. The room is quickly crowded as more and more of this creature pours through the portal." We ran out as the inn was destroyed along with several nearby buildings. It ends up that we summoned a gigantic, fat, disgusting daemon creature from an evil realm. I grabbed the wizard and we all ran away as it began munching on innocent civilians. This turned into a side quest in which we had to quickly recruit an epic level paladin and my own level 20 barbarian chief to kill the daemon while we killed all of its cultists. I think our DM handled it well, and now it's a joke at our table to never break wind when a wizard is casting a spell. destroyed the world tree. Not me in particular, but I happened to take part in it. My friends and I were in a campaign where we had to choose one of 4 doors. Door 1 was air, door 2 was earth, door 3 was fire, and door 4 was water. We could only read 2 of the 4 doors, which were the air and water doors. So we decided to split up the party. We had about 6 people, so 3 people went through the air and 3 went through the water door. I went through the water door with my party sorcerer and mage. I was a ranger. We didn't know that we were standing on the world tree, so my sorcerer had the bright idea to cast decay on the world tree, where we fell to our death until a goddess had saved us. Basically, think of a non-useless aqua. Then we got blasted with high pressure water and were left with 1 HP and with a boss soon ahead. Me and the mage just started yelling at the sorcerer for like 5 minutes while the rest of the party regrouped with us just yelling at him. So one of my friends was a wizard and we were fighting mimics. He got stuck during the fight and had 4 HP left. So I come up with an idea to use Thorn Whip to pull him out. I roll a nat 20 on grabbing him, but my DM said he would also take damage if I did this, so when I rolled, I got another nat 20, allowing me to roll twice for damage. Oh no. I roll for damage and get 6, which is the most I can do with that spell. But I had to roll again even though he is already dead, and got another 6. This is how my DM describes the event. You cast Thorn Whip to save your friends from the mimic. You grab his neck, pull him out, causing massive damage to him. As you pull him out, you lug him across the room into the wall face first. Your party member has died. From then on, I swore I would never use Thorn Whip again. Townspeople look at me with fear from then on and posted as a criminal for attempted murder. Me and my group of players accidentally flooded an entire town. We were playing homebrew, and the DM gave us one made-up item as long as it wasn't super overpowered. I chose a ring that acted like a mini-map. Our barbarian chose a ring that let him turn into any animal, like a druid. Our paladin chose an AoE hammer, and our wizard chose a mug of mead that held infinite beer. We were in a shop and we accidentally spilled the mug. We all got washed away as the flood of mead. We had to use a lot of spells to stop the mug from destroying the entire world. It could have happened. We were exiled from the town. We were visiting a neighboring kingdom to find clues on the big bad evil guy's whereabouts, and we met with the king. The king, however, was a racist prick who had extreme prejudice against anyone who wasn't an elf, aka all of the party. I didn't take him seriously, and despite not having it in my spell list, I viciously mocked this dude to the point where his guards were stifling laughter. We then find a secret dungeon beneath his throne room which held monsters galore, and the big bad evil guy is third in command. We clean house, and me being super pissed that a king could be this blind not to see it going on beneath his literal nose, we report to him. He tells us to leave and berated us some more. He then insulted our tiefling bard, whom I had a special connection with. TLDR, my previous character who died to a death knight had a relationship with him, and now via the ring of mind shielding, his soul was trapped on the ring on my finger. The tiefling bard also carried us in the dungeon, so I do what any calm, level-headed, rational adult would do. I pimp slapped the king square across his jaw with an audible crack. We were banished on sight. No regrets. Hey everyone, Brian here. If you liked the video, then please leave a like, and if you're new, hey, roll that bonus action, guys and gals, and subscribe. And hello to our long list of 100,000 plus subs, by the way. If you want to keep tabs on us as well, you can follow Mr.Ripper on Twitter, join his Discord, or you can ring that little bell next to the subscribe button because that will alert you anytime we go live or post a video. Alternatively, you could follow me on Twitter or on YouTube or join my Discord too. I stream a lot and post a lot of fun vids as well, and all the links you could want for anything you want to do will be in the description below. And hey, if you have a story you'd like to share, feel free to do so in the comments here or over on our sub r/MrRipper, where we're getting a lot of our goodies nowadays. So, there you go. Business talk out of the way. Happy birthday to Mr. Ripper's channel. Not Mr. Ripper himself, but the channel. The channel has been alive for some time now, and I've been here for nearly a whole year. Almost anyway. And we here just want to say thank you for all the love and support. And personally, I want to say thanks too. It's been a damn dream of mine to voice act for a living, and you guys are helping all three of us, Ripper, Dave, and myself, basically live our lives. So thank you guys and gals for giving us all a good start, especially me, because this is really helping out with a lot of things I'm doing. Along with that, I just wanted to say it's going to be my birthday in August as well. On the 9th to be exact. I'm turning 31. So, to that end, I hope everyone has a good time on my birthday, and that everyone stays safe. I'll be raising a glass of whiskey or alcohol of some sort to your happiness and health as well as mine, but if you ever need to vent, or talk, or anything, please do so in the comments below. Tell us about your day or your week or how you're doing in general, and please let the world know that you're still alive and out there, because we are, and we're all happy to be here with you. So, to that end, all the love, we will see you next time. Bye for now.